Part 51. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 503. Han Qian didn't sleep well all night. He would wake up after a while, worried that something strange would happen. When Han Qian opened his eyes for the fifth time, it was dawn, and Han Qian sighed heavily. When you get up, look in the mirror first, then check your bed, cell phone, and clothes. Nothing happened. Now that other girls came to the house, Han Qian was really panicked. When she changed her clothes and walked out, Wen Nuan opened the door with sleepy eyes. The moment she saw Han Qian, Miss Wen rushed over and hugged Han Qian's arms. A kiss on the forehead. Good morning, Han Qian couldn't help but grinned. Go and wash your face quickly. You are all drunk. I'm going to make some porridge. Nuan hugged Han Qian's neck, tilted his head and wondered. You. Han Qian tapped Nuan's little head and smiled. Your teacher Tong and assistant Yu. Oh. When Han Qian went downstairs, nursery rhyme, who was sleeping in the guest room, was already preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Han Qian stood at the top of the stairs, stretched, and turned to the balcony to check the weather today. But when he looked at it, Han Qian not calm anymore. The clothes to be changed have been hung on the balcony. Han Qian quickly walked into the bathroom. The trash can has been replaced with new garbage bags. The traces of yesterday's nosebleed have also been cleaned up. Even those smelly socks are gone. Is there a thief? As soon as this idea came to his mind, Han Qian waved his hand and slapped himself. Pain. Not a dream. He turned around and walked out of the hygienist's house and walked to the door of the kitchen. He imitated Yu's poem last night and leaned on the door while reading the nursery rhyme about making breakfast while wearing this apron, and said softly. Did you wash my clothes? Tong Yao turned around and said calmly. Wash it warmly. Yours comes by the way. You don't even put any washing powder in it. Han Qian did not answer, but looked at the nursery rhyme blankly. He felt that this woman had not changed much, but she felt that she had changed a lot. She used to be like a monster, but now she looks like a female monster. Although this word is not very appropriate, but the nursery rhyme it really adds a lot of femininity. Especially after Yu Shisai's play last night, Han Qian also began to pay attention to Tong Yao's figure. The 2 times they had sex were in an abnormal state. This would be the first time Han Qian looked at Tong Yao. My figure is great, everything I should have is excellent, and everything I shouldn't have is bad. When Tong Yao raised his head and put the hanging hair around his ears, Han Qian swallowed hard and carefully bent over to go to the bathroom. Han Qian's inner monologue at this time is very simple. I'm sick. I need to see a Chinese medicine doctor. I am a human being. How can I like monsters? After Tong Yao put breakfast on the table, Yu Shisai walked out of the room with sleepy eyes. When he saw Tong Yao, Yu Shisai showed a wicked smile, opened his arms and said softly. Nursery rhyme, come and give me a hug. Tong Yao pointed her chopsticks at Yu Shisai and said warily. Have a meal, be obedient. Yu Shisai sat on the chair and drank porridge obediently. Han Qian was a little puzzled when he saw this and said Bagua. What did you 2 do in your room last night? The words were stomped hard, no need to guess, it was a nursery rhyme. Yu Shisai raised his hand and put it on his chest, scratched at the air, then laughed, and Nuan knocked Yu Shisai's lips with his chopsticks. Bowl, said softly. Eat well, have you forgotten what my mother-in-law said? Mentioning Qian's mother, Yu Shisai quickly put away her naughtiness and ate obediently. This made Tong Yao a little curious about what kind of person Han Qian's mother was. How could Yu Shisai, a lunatic, be so obedient? Han Qian did not remember his mother, Yu Shisai, and the others. I said nothing, I just know that they all like their mother. After dinner, Nuan and Yu Shisai changed their clothes and went to work. When it came to work, no one Han Qian knew could compare to Yushasai. When she was working, it was like she had sold her soul, and all she could think about was work. On the day she met Luofu, Han Qian lay in Yushasai's office for 2 hours. Yushasai didn't say a word to Han Qian or even look at her. She only had work in her mind. Every girl has advantages. As for the advantage of warmth, it has not been discovered yet. It will take time and sufficient energy to do so. This girl was acting silly all day long, as if she knew whether she was hungry or not. The two went to work, leaving 2 guys who could be said to be unemployed for the time being. Han Qian glanced at Tanjio, who quickly covered his collar. This action made Han Qian very uncomfortable and he frowned. "What are you doing?" Nursery rhyme glared back. "I'm afraid you'll bite me." "Then do you need to buy me a muzzle to wear? You admit that you are a dog. I beat you to death." Tanjio got up and went to the kitchen to find a kitchen knife, while Han Qian lay on the sofa in despair. Illusion, definitely an illusion, she has no femininity at all. At 9 o'clock, Han Qian and Tong Yao went out. When they got in the car, Han Qian threw the skull bag that he had thrown in the car yesterday to Tong Yao. This time, Tong Yao was almost crushed to death. Tong Yao was so angry that Tong Yao played a trick on Han Qian. The slap made Han Qian grin. Then Tong Yao was about to throw his skull bag out, and Han Qian leaned on the steering wheel and smiled evilly. "There are more than 400,000 yuan in it. If you want to part with it, just throw it away." "Ah!" Tong Yao instantly let go of her hand and dropped her skull bag on her lap. She looked at Han Qian with a painful expression, and Han Qian quickly explained. "Don't blame me, don't hit me. My brother doesn't have time. He told me yesterday to get the money. He sold the car. I promise not to lose money. You are responsible for the management. He ignored it. He will pay dividends at the end of the year. The loss will be counted on you." Tong Yao opened her skull bag and looked at the red banknotes inside. The corners of her mouth gradually rose, and she raised her head and grinned. "Where did your brother pick it up? You can pick one up for me too." Han Qian started the car and said softly. "My brother is working hard, but your son has to call him uncle." Seeing that the nursery rhymes were about to go berserk, Han Qian quickly changed the topic. "You know how to drive, right? In the past, you said you couldn't drive because you were worried that driving their car would cause scratches and you couldn't afford to pay for it, right? You know, and you still ask? Did you do it on purpose?" This monster's brain circuit is different from that of a normal person, not at all. Han Qian was too lazy to talk to her. The two of them never chatted on the same line. He was on the phone with Cai Qinghu all the way. If he was stopped by the traffic police, Han Qian would be in big trouble. His driver's license was still on Cheng Jin's desk. When he arrived at the repair shop, Han Qian saw the Maserati under the guidance of the steward. Because he was in a hurry and had no time to wait for the goods from abroad to be delivered, Cai Qinghu spent a lot of money and refused to allow it. Foolish, it must be original. The person in charge was so stupid that he simply removed the parts from the other 2 Masas, and then told the car owners to wait for the parts to come and replace them with new ones at a 50% discount. In any case, the Maserati was repaired, and Han Qian threw the car keys in his hand to nursery rhyme. "You can go through the ownership transfer yourself later. Qinghu has prepared all the procedures. Just go over and sign. From now on, this thing's surname will be Tong." The nursery rhyme was not polite, which Han Qian expected. If she were polite, she would not be a child monster. Then the monster asked the owner of the repair shop if he could give her a car film and fluorescent powder. Han Qian complained softly after hearing this. "Why are you so girly?" Tong Yao turned around and kicked Han Qian's calf, whispering. "You will find out tonight. Now that I have a car and money, you are useless. Get out of here." I'll tease you with nursery rhymes. Before he finished speaking, the manager of the repair shop brought a few modules and asked nursery rhymes which pink color he wanted. Han Qian curled his lips and turned around to leave. As soon as he walked out of the repair shop, the monster chased him out and pointed at the back of Han Qian's head. He slapped him and said angrily, "What did you want to do with me just now? You bastard." After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 504. Wolf with White Eyes, Ba. You monster, I gave you money and a car with good intentions, but you came back and said that I raped you with words, ah. Transformation, Ultraman. Death Ray. Han Qian is not normal anymore, he is angry because of the nursery rhymes. Ultraman can't change. Han Qian is a little curious about where the protagonists in novels who fly with swords in daily life or have a system behind hiding their identity learned, and where they got such magical things. When the time comes, the whole thing, with no other meaning, flew over Lin Zongheng's head every day and shaved him into a Mediterranean shape. It's exciting just thinking about it. I've forgotten the nursery rhymes now. Today is Friday. Han Qian didn't go to work this week. He simply didn't want to go this afternoon and called Suliang and De Chiener. Go in style. De Chiener readily agreed. When he called Suliang, this guy was actually taking wedding photos. Han Qian was unhappy. He didn't even notify him of such a big event. He sped all the way to the coastal road. Because of the environment, scenery, and scarce roads, vehicles, this place has become a must-have place for newlyweds in the city to take wedding photos. Suliang and Li Li have already taken a few photos. Today, the young couple realized how tiring it is to take wedding photos. When they were at the beach, Li Li choked twice when taking a photo of someone entering the water. The camera assistant and teacher also not easy. Come. Let's start the filming of the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The groom's face should not be too stiff, his face should be firm, his eyes should be gentle, and the bride's back should be closer to the groom. Before he finished speaking, the sound of a sports car roaring came from the distance behind the camera teacher. White Porsche. Yellow McLaren. Both cars were roaring on the road with full power. The McLaren was like a golden lightning, vaguely half the body of the Porsche. The speed of both cars was estimated to have exceeded 120 miles. Golden lightning and white clouds roared toward the camera teacher, Suliang, and Li Li. At this moment, the camera teacher hurriedly shouted, "Quick, you two get into position, this is a good opportunity." The assistant on the side shouted danger, but as an art madman, he only had art in his eyes at this time. As for Suliang and Li Li, they had no intention of panic at all. Crack. The picture freezes. Suliang held a pistol and looked into the distance, Li Li held an M16, and two sports cars were on their left and right, like phantoms. The camera teacher looked at the photos in the camera, clenched his fists and shouted loudly, "Yes, this is the feeling I want. Alas! It's a pity. It would be better if I could do it again. I wasn't fully prepared this time." As soon as he finished speaking, the two cars in the distance turned around. Seeing this, the camera teacher hurriedly asked the two newcomers to make new moves, but there was no chance. This time, the two cars were moving very slowly and stopped in front of the newcomers. Around. Suliang put down the gun in his hand and walked to McLaren's car. He stretched out his hand and patted the front hood. He turned to look at Han Qian, who had already stepped out of the car, and cursed with a smile. "You two prodigal sons, have you had enough fun? Come on, let me feel good too." After finishing her words, Qianwan opened the car door and grinned. "The key is not out. Brother Liang can play by himself. Brother Qianer, please don't go to the company recently. Mr. Yan has already said that if you dare to go to work, she will tear you to pieces." Han Qian smiled helplessly, threw a cigarette to Sul Yang, and said with a smile. You can still live through the weekend. Don't panic. After all, this 1 million is really not as good as your 4 million. When King Hu's R8 arrives, we will give it a try. You two, are you good at playing? You're fighting with a gun before you get married. Sul Yang took the cigarette, lit it and threw the lighter to Han Qian, laughing and cursing. You know what the heck, we call it adding spice to life. Listening to their conversation, the camera teacher knew that these people must be very close, but he was a little confused. When taking wedding photos, he kept asking about the price. Does this look like a person who is short of money? The subsequent shooting took 2 people in the car. Han Qian stood next to the camera teacher and looked at the newlyweds, holding his chin and muttering in a low voice. If I had known how to use a car, it would be great if I asked King Hu to get his classic car. I still feel it when I look at it. This toy gun is quite heavy and almost the same as a real gun. I really want to try the real Desert Eagle. What does a gun feel like? The Type 92 feels too girly. The camera teacher was stunned for a moment when he heard these words, then Qianwan said softly. I'll go back and ask Uncle Kong about this. My aunt said that he liked to collect these things when he was abroad. He wanted to teach my brother before, but he didn't learn. Forget it, the ghost old man looks scary to me, so I just have fun talking about it. I'm just a white-collar worker in a company. Tisk, 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 the white-collar workers in the company will not go to work for a week. The general manager is so angry that he wants to beat you, but he still doesn't want to do it. He grabs the general department every day to vent his anger. Brother Qian'er, the general department treats you well. I know. Hey, which car is better for a bright wedding car? CAI King Hu's R8? Or your McLaren? Isn't it okay? They are 2-seater cars. Can't the bridesmaid accompany the bride? I heard that you have to throw a handkerchief when crossing a bridge or encountering weddings and weddings. Is my aunt's thing okay? It's too heavy. I don't like Mercedes-Benz very much. It's not like you're getting married. I'll ask my sister-in-law later, how much money are you going to give as a gift? You gave me a house, and I gave you a diamond ring, but this wedding has to come with gifts, right? When the mention of the gift came up, Han Qian was confused. He seemed to have given all the money to nursery rhymes and forgot about the gift. Then the two hid behind the camera teacher and discussed in a low voice. Qianwan whispered. I want to be married. I will never forget the scene of Brother Liang standing in front of me at the internet cafe. It's just my first marriage. It's also my first wedding. Han Qian pinched his chin and whispered. It's only 190,000. We can't go there with a bag of cash. We can't even ask for a card. There isn't such a big red envelope in the gift account. Then what should we do? It's too little and I feel bad. You two brothers are the only ones left. In this case, the gift account is 20,000 yuan each, and then we can't toast him when he gets married. Be more prepared and let Lily's parents see it. Sul Yang probably won't be able to refund the money. The premise is that Lily's parents are that kind. I am a person who is greedy for money. Now I am not worried about being greedy for money. I am worried about not being greedy for money. Is this okay? Do you have any money? Have I prepared your share? It should be available. I'll go find someone to order some. Sister Wen or Sister Ching Ching. You have to sort this out, otherwise they may quarrel over this matter. The camera teacher was sweating all over after hearing this. What kind of friends did the Sul Yang make? A house and a diamond ring were given as gifts for the two of them, which cost more than 400,000 yuan for the two of them. And judging from their conversation, the 400,000 yuan seemed to be 4,000 yuan. The camera teacher closed his eyes, then looked up at the sky, shouting in his heart. God, please give me a few friends like this, Not two. Just one will do. After a stage of filming, Suliang and Lily came over, and Suliang smiled. I see you two have been chatting for a while. What did you talk about? Han Qian sighed softly. Are we looking for a wedding car for you? I don't know what kind of car Lily wants. As for sports cars, we have four now: McLaren, Ferrari, Porsche, Maserati, and Mercedes-Benz has a 600. I don't know if I can borrow it. Lily chuckled softly. Ah, there's no need to go to so much trouble. Just ask Suliang to pick me up on a bicycle. It's just a formality. Also, brother Qianer, Wan, you two don't have many courtesy. Han Qian shrugged, and Qian Wan asked. When will you get married? Suliang smiled. Next Saturday, there's about a week left. Let's invite the people from the general department to dinner one day in advance. You two won't leave after dinner and help decorate the new house. Han Qian was slightly startled. Is the decoration finished? That's almost it? Lily's parents asked that it must be in the new house so that she can look better in front of relatives and friends. After hearing this, Han Qian and Qian Wan laughed and said in unison. Good. I also want a friend like this. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 506. Looking at the intimate couple at dusk, Han Qian also remembered Wen Nuan's suggestion to take a couple photo. In the early third year after their marriage, the relationship between Han Qian and Wen Nuan warmed up rapidly. People around Wen got married, attended the weddings of executives' children, and watched the wedding photos flashing on the big screen at the wedding. The sweet and playful look made Nuan a little envious. At that time, she had almost forgotten Lin Zongheng's appearance, and left the wedding venue to call Han Qian midway. Han Qian, let's take a couple photo, I'm missing a partner. Han Qian, who was at home learning from Lao Wen how to gain a position in the company, was a little confused when he heard the sentence and said softly. Aren't you afraid that tomorrow it will be reported that Miss Wen's husband is a housewife? Wen Nuan was silent. The two of them hadn't torn the piece of paper yet, and Wen Nuan hadn't felt the discomfort of losing Han Qian yet. He whispered back fear and then hung up the phone. Not long after, Wen Nuan went to take couple photos alone. After returning home, he hung the largest pair in Han Qian's bedroom. The reputation was to use photos to see if Han Qian would secretly do bad things at night. As for the real reason, Nuan probably didn't know. She wanted to hang up, she wanted to do this. It's just that at that time, Han Qian placed his position very clearly. He is just a hired flower protector. A faceless person. Thinking of this, Han Qian remembered something again. There were many suitors for Wen Nuan back then, so much so that Secretary Chang had to use his car to throw out the flowers every day. Warm looks and height attract the opposite sex. What these guys care more about is not the ability to enjoy warmth, but the influence of mother-in-law and relatives. When they heard that Wen Nuan was getting married, these guys immediately went crazy. How can it be? If Little Phoenix wasn't waiting for Lin Zongheng, why would he get married suddenly? They asked their connections to check Nuan's files, and the word married was clearly written in the marriage column. After all the connections, I only knew that the man named Xiao Feng Huan was named Han. I searched all the rich young men named Han, but the result was that none of them were the same. As a result, the man who married Little Phoenix became everyone's enemy. Since he couldn't find your surname Han, he waited for Little Phoenix to make a move, but he didn't wait. It's as if this person named Han doesn't exist. Calm down. At the instruction of the camera teacher, the wedding photo shoot ended. Han Qian drove Suliang and Yelai back home. After Suliang got out of the car, he asked Lily to go back to their rented house first. Han Qian also got out of the car. The two brothers leaned against the car smoking cigarettes. Han Qian then asked that question. You're getting married like this? Don't you feel unwilling to do so? Suliang smiled. There are people who go to work and get off work together. When we get home, I do the laundry and she cooks. We talk about our ideals and future together. Qian, this is the life I yearn for. There is nothing I wouldn't be willing to do. I have slept with all kinds of women. Tired, all right, tired. Han Qian shrugged and sighed. I can't understand it. I feel like I can't see the future. Suliang reached out and patted Han Qian's shoulder and said softly. As an outsider and as your brother, I hope you choose Aunt Ji. Your life with her will not be tiring or irritable. Brother, just be comfortable for the rest of your life. Let's go. I won't call you upstairs, my wife is tired. Suliang left, and Han Qian was now looking at the night sky. Qian Ling's opinion was Yan Qingqing. Today, Suliang told Han Qian to choose Ji Jing. They are all thinking about Han Qian's future, but their starting points are different. Suliang is an ordinary person and he thinks about pressure, while Qian Ling is a businessman and thinks about interests. Just as he got in the car and was about to go home, the old man called and asked how Han Qian was doing, if he was in danger, and if there was a fight, let him know and he would come right away. Han Qian did not answer the topic and asked softly. Old man, what will you do if I go astray? The coffin is ready. The white-haired man will give it to the black-haired man. What if I get distracted? Let me ask your mother. This time I didn't hear the old man's voice. The phone was hung up. Han Qian looked up at the sky. This seemed to be a gift. Driving home, I opened the door and smelled the smell of instant noodles. When Nuan exposed half of his body in the kitchen and said with a charming smile. Brother Qian, are you back? Just wait, I'll cook a big meal for you. Han Qian raised his eyebrows and said solemnly. Can you not go into the kitchen and cause harm to people? Oh, okay, nothing will happen today. 10 minutes later, Han Qian felt for the first time that he would have food when he returned home, and the dinner was edible, not poisonous, that's right. A bucket of instant noodles, $1 chicken sausage, 2 hillbilly eggs, a bag of peanuts, 2 chicken feet, and a box of canned fish. This does not require a fire, just soak the noodles in hot water from the water dispenser, and the rest is ready to eat. Han Qian raised his head and looked at Wen Nuan. You're just going to feed me this? Think about what I'm going to feed you when you get home. Wen Nuan didn't feel embarrassed at all and smiled. I'm not letting you experience a different life, brother Qian. You can't find a perfect girlfriend like me even with a lantern, Trojan horse. Let's just talk. Why are you kissing me? It's weird, I'm so embarrassed. Wen Nuan dragged his chin and looked at Han Qian, who opened the lid of the instant noodles, smiling with a confused look. Did you blush the same way when Yan Qingqing kissed you? Han Qian's hands stiffened, then he opened an egg and stuffed it into his mouth, mumbling. I'm not shy when she bites my forehead, it hurts. Then what happened when you and Cai Qinghu lived in the same hotel? Also, how did you solve the problem when Wei Tiancheng drugged you? Before he finished speaking, Nuan put a finger on Han Qian's lips and whispered. People are mutual. You tolerated me for 3 years, and now you are still taking care of my eldest lady who can't take care of herself. I have no reason to think that this is what it should be. So. You still have 2 years and 3 months to live. When the time comes, it's up to me whether to pay back the money or the person, brother Qian, but that doesn't mean I won't go around the world to catch mistresses now. Han Qian groaned, lowered his head and ate the noodles. Nuan started to drool a little as he looked at it. He stretched out his hand to hold Han Qian's wrist, swallowed his saliva and whispered. Give me a bite. Han Qian looked at Wen Nuan and smiled bitterly. Do you have to try the decoction when I drink it from now on? Nuan ate instant noodles and chicken feet with Han Qian's fork, and said vaguely. Han Qian, I want to eat eggs. As soon as these words came out, Han Qian's face turned dark instantly. Wen Nuan always liked to eat some weird things, and it was something Han Qian couldn't accept. Han Qian asked with a frown. Can you have some human food? Oh, I remembered what you said. Teacher Tong said he wanted to buy you dog food. Han Qian was furious. I beat her to death for being a child monster. Don't ask me why, it's only one chapter. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, A Huan. Chapter 507. Originally thinking of going out with Cai Qinghu on the weekend, the eldest sister slipped away to the capital and sent a text message saying that she would not be back until next week. Han Qian asked Wen Nuan if he wanted to go out and relax. Wen Nuan shook his head and refused, and asked Han Qian to stay at home today with her. After breakfast, Nuan found Han Qian with his notebook in his arms, a pen in his mouth, his long hair casually tied up, wearing simple home clothes, and his face had not been washed or teeth brushed. Brother Qian, I'm in trouble. Han Qian, who was arranging his clothes, turned around, glanced at Wen Nuan, and laughed softly. You're not in trouble, you've always been in trouble. I think you look better without makeup. A large part of the reason why Wen Nuan kept the other women under pressure was that this girl was very beautiful even without makeup. When Wen Nuan kicked Han Qian's calf and complained softly. I just can't turn this corner. Why are you telling me that I don't want to help? I can help you. Go make a pot of tea and call master. I can think about it. After hearing this, Nuan looked with disdain. You were like this when you were teaching Yan Qingqing. Han Qian curled his lips and said. Why are you competing with Yan Qingqing? You can be faster with my teachings. 10 minutes later, Nuan was sitting on the sofa and looking at the computer. Han Qian was pointing at the computer screen with a chopstick in his hand, watching Chang's Yang Group make an operation plan, almost explaining it to Nuan word by word, literally. When Nuan understands the meaning, she just doesn't understand this kind of operation. Han Qian patiently talked about it all morning, and Nuan finally understood it. Of course, Han Qian didn't copy it, and made modifications according to his own opinions. Han Qian was a little envious when he saw Nuan's little white hands quickly tapping the front plate. He was not typing slowly, it was not even close to being warm. Taking out a cigarette and lighting it, Wen Nuan frowned slightly and took the computer to the dining table. She didn't like the smell of cigarettes, but she didn't ask Han Qian to quit smoking. Han Qian crossed his legs and blew out smoke toward the roof, whispering. Road. Suliang is getting married next Saturday. I may have to go there for 2 days to help. Oh. Wen Nuan's answer was very bland, which was also what Han Qian expected. The only thing that can arouse Nuan's interest is when you ask her what she wants to eat. Han Qian asked tentatively what she wanted to eat. Wen Nuan put down her work and came to Han Qian. Qian's side no longer disliked the smell of cigarette smoke, so he spoke seriously. I want to eat raw eggs. No. Why do you always like to eat these things? It makes me sick when I look at it. Then why are you asking me? Then I won't ask. Just wait. Xiao Han Qian, you're done. Nuan stood up and left, and then her voice reached Han Qian's ears again. Mom, I want to eat, but Han Qian won't let me eat. Please judge me. He complained again, but this time Han Qian was not afraid, because his mother didn't like eating these things either. He looked at Wen Nuan provocatively, and then took out his mobile phone and dialed the number. Mom. Wen Nuan insists on eating raw eggs. I won't let her eat it. She went to her mother-in-law and said bad things about me. As soon as the words came out, Wen Nuan raised his eyebrows, glared at Han Qian and gritted his teeth. His eyes were full of threats. Han Qian said calmly, "Mom, Nuan is going to hit me." On the phone, Li Jinhe said angrily. "She dares? Han Qian, why don't you give it to her? I'll see what he can do. He also eats hairy eggs. Ask her if she can eat iron eggs." Han Qian didn't dare to ask this, and then Li Jinhe told Han Qian to let Nuan hang up the phone while she went to talk to her biological mother. She couldn't let her daughter-in-law bully her son like this. The 2-day weekend passed very quickly. On the first day, Nuan and Han Qian were scolded by their respective mothers. On the second day, they were busy with their own affairs and did not disturb each other. However, both Wei Tiancheng and Lu Guangming called and asked Han, "Are you interested in meeting me?" The answer to Lu Guangming was that Nuan was having a quarrel at home and he found time to contact Wei Tiancheng. As for Wei Tiancheng, Han Qian's answer was very enthusiastic. After hanging up the phone, his face was gloomy. Does this guy think he is still worthy of trust? When he arrived at the company, looking at Yan Qingqing standing on the steps with her hands folded on her chest, Han Qian regretted a little, but it was useless. Counting 2 weekends, he had not been to the company for 9 days. He walked up the steps bravely, stepped forward, and grinned. "Good morning, Mr. Yan." Yan Qingqing replied with a sneer. "Morning. I will drive to your house to find you later to see if you have been drunk by the warmth. The king of imitators does not come to court early, Han Qian. Laziness will make people regress." Han Qian scratched his head in embarrassment and said softly, "I have been busy. I haven't stayed at home all the time. I have been busy with some things and sent Go De Peo to prison." Yan Qingqing raised her brows, full of evil spirits. Han Qian quickly lowered his head. Yan Qingqing clenched her back molars, making a sound between her teeth. "Are you seeking death again?" "No, what should I say about this?" "Hey, don't cry." While speaking, Han Qian raised his head and looked at Yan Qingqing again. When Empress Yasha bit her lip, her big eyes were full of mist, as if a flood was about to burst the embankment. Han Qian quickly held Yan Qingqing's face and spoke softly. "Road. I didn't take any risks this time. I took Sul Yang, Guan Degu, and Lu Shenga together. None of us were injured. You can ask Guan Yunbiao and Sul Yang, really." Yan Qingqing raised her head, looked at Han Qian with watery eyes, and whispered. "Really, you didn't lie to me, then why don't you come to work?" Han Qian replied quickly. "My little aunt, don't cry. When you cry like this, the whole company thinks I'm bullying you. I helped teacher Tong handle some things on Thursday. She needs a document from the Yamanman. On Friday Sul Yang and Li Li are taking wedding photos, and they have set the date for next Saturday to get married, so won't I come to work on Monday? I thought you didn't want to be my assistant, but you didn't want to tell me, so you just stopped coming to work. What do I eat and drink when I'm not working? I haven't paid you a salary when you go to work. I like the feeling that you ask me for pocket money." The more Yan Qingqing talked, the more excited she became. Han Qian did not dare to continue to watch in public. He pulled Yan Qingqing to the executive elevator and went directly to her office. Xiao Yangjia looked at the two people with a gossipy face. A long series of strong female novels has appeared in Little Brain Melon Seed. He walked into the office, closed the door, and little Yangjia eavesdropped at the door, but no matter how he comforted her, Yan Qingqing just cried or choked. Empress Yasha didn't look like a strong woman at all when she cried. In desperation, Han Qian could only bite the bullet and speak. "Wei Tiancheng asked me to meet. There were some grudges between the two of us. He seems to be worried that I will attack him. Please accompany me." I may not understand some of the things I say and do. After finishing her words, Yan Qingqing raised her head with bright eyes. Real. Han Qian nodded and Yan Qingqing continued. Just the two of us and Wei Tiancheng. He should bring a female companion. I'll change my clothes. After get off work. Then let me change my clothes and show you. I really won't be an assistant anymore if you do this. In one chapter, my mother's condition is very serious. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 508. Please tell me if there are typos. Missing the bustle of the general department, Han Qian secretly sneaked to the general department while Yan Qingqing was negotiating with customers. He was as sneaky as a thief, pretending to be nonchalant when meeting his colleagues, whistling and talking to himself about going downstairs to eat. He almost didn't write the words "I'm going to the general department" on his face. When he arrived on the 11th floor, Han Qian smelled the smell of home. Looking at the words general department, Han Qian wanted to cry a little. It's so damn difficult. Listening to the lively chatter inside, Han Qian wanted to fight with Yan Qingqing. Why can't I go back to the general department? Then he gave up again. People under the eaves have to bow their heads. Han Qian never thought of giving Yan Qingqing shares. He was superior and asked for pocket money because Han Qian thought they were close to each other, and Yan Qingqing did not pay him a salary. In the final analysis, Han Qian could not live without warmth and Yan Qingqing. Well. He sighed feebly. Just as Han Qian was about to go back, he raised his head and saw a sneaky guy walking towards the general department looking left and right. Seeing this guy, Han Qian was also stunned. How could there be a guy bolder than him? I just came here to take a look at everyone. Maybe this guy came over from home just to take a look? Absolutely impossible. The sneaky Suliang also saw Han Qian, ran over in 3 steps and 2 steps, stepped forward and hugged Han Qian's neck. Han Qian looked at Suliang with wide eyes, and the two said in unison. What are you here for? What are you here for? The two of them were stunned for a moment, and then said again. Didn't President Yan say that you wouldn't be allowed to come to the general department? Aren't you afraid of being caught by Mr. Yan? The two were stunned again, and then they simultaneously reached out to cover each other's mouths and shouted in unison. You made me say it first. Shut the hell up. Then there was a whine, and Yang Lan, who was checking the homework in the general department, felt someone outside the door, frowned, and looked a little unhappy. Tell Yang Lan, you can bully me, but you can't bully the children in the general department. Yang Lan walked towards the corridor outside the door with a dark face. When he saw the two guys outside the door, Yang Ian's face became even darker. What are you two doing? At this moment, Han Qian and Suliang were grabbing each other's collars and covering each other's mouths. Obviously no one would know that they were in the general department, because with such a commotion, the entire 11th floor knew about it. If it were other people in the general department, there wouldn't be much excitement to watch, but these two people were Han Daxian Er and Suzai Liang Er. These two guys explained a sentence. Fighting Tiger Brothers. Join Li Dongsheng. Yang Lan stepped forward, holding an ear with one hand and gritting his teeth angrily. You two bastards. Come in here. The two guys whose ears were grabbed didn't dare to lose their temper at all. They admitted their mistakes and begged for mercy. The members of the general department were also curious, which two guys were Sister Yang scolding. When Yang Lan dragged the two bastards into the general department, the members of the general department were a little surprised. They all heard that Suliang and Han Qian were transferred away and were not allowed to return to the general department to help in a short period of time. They were actually arrested by Sister Yang. Came back. The first one to stand up was Lu Zhuolong. He stepped forward and slapped Han Qian and Suliang on the buttocks, smiling. But I haven't seen you two for a while. What's wrong? Our two generals from the general department have gone home. Han Qian covered his butt and laughed naively. Hey, why don't Brother Lu go and beg for mercy? I want to come back too. Lu Zhuolong chuckled. I feel freer if you two are not in the general department, so as not to cause trouble if I talk to Lan Lan. Yang Lan helplessly covered his forehead, sighed and shook his head. Suliang raised his head and laughed. My deputy Lu, just give up. This flower of yours can't bloom anymore. Here. You're going to lose your money. Invitation. This is the purpose of Suliang's visit today. The matter of wedding gifts is very embarrassing. If you say you should give an invitation, the other party will have to spend money. If you don't give it, the other party will still think of you as a friend and colleague. Han Qian was thinking, what if? What if? If you were to get married, how would you send invitations? Lu Zhuolong must give it? This old man has no evil intentions. He is a bit stupid and has a warm heart. He gave Suliang money for beating someone, made soup for Han Qian when he was injured, and did it in the bar. This person can pay, really can. Lu Zhuolong held the invitation and looked at Yang Lan, who glared at him fiercely, then frowned and scolded two guys who shouldn't be here. Mr. Yan specifically told me that you two cannot go back to the general department and are not allowed to give any help to the general department. Can you two not help it? Are they children? Han Qian quickly straightened up and saluted respectfully. Answer Sister Yang's question. I am a child. Yang Lan smiled helplessly. How old are you? Little Han Han. 18. Suliang on the side frowned and said angrily. You're shameless, aren't you? Report to Sister Yang, I'm 17. Han Qian cursed. Are you getting married at 17? I am willing. Don't make trouble, big guy, listen to what I have to say. I am lucky enough to have met my true love, and I don't want to miss the person who can accompany me throughout my life. This Saturday, I want to ask the big guys to come and support me. There are so many people. Some. Hua Luo handed half of the invitation to Han Qian and asked him to help. Han Qian casually handed the invitation to Yao Shui and said with a smile. Isn't this thing one for each person? You can divide it as you like. Yao Shui opened the invitation and smiled. You can't say that. Suliang has written all the names, so you can't divide them randomly. Why don't you look for your share? Han Qian shrugged and curled his lips. It's no use if I want it, why can't he let me in? Suliang turned around and said with a smile. I don't dare, I don't dare. You are the father, okay. You are the most powerful. Han Qian pulled up a chair and was bragging in the general department. Qin Shui from the marketing department cooperated with the general department and came to talk to Yang Lan. Then he was attracted by Han Qian and led others to listen to Han Qian's bragging. Everyone was curious about what happened on the Mid-Autumn Festival. They knew that someone shot Feng Lun, and they were also curious about the grudge between Go Depeo and Han Qian. The story was so vivid that everyone put down their work and listened to Han Qian's story. Everyone was very excited when they heard about Suliang's violent beating of Go Pao. Suliang was a little embarrassed, scratched his head and whispered back. Didn't you hear that he was going to cause trouble for you, so you couldn't control yourself and took action? After saying this, Qin Shui smiled. I, an old man like you, am very envious of the relationship between you two. It's a pity that I can't be young anymore. Han Qian replied with a smile. I'll take one with you next time we fight. When the words came out, Qin Shui became embarrassed instantly. He didn't believe that Han Daxian was joking. He firmly didn't believe it. When he was struggling with how to answer, Suliang chuckled. Qin department, ask our deputy Lu, is the fight exciting? It has nothing to do with us, and there is nothing to be afraid of. But I have to say one thing, I will smash 2 million into an ashtray. Et. Everyone curled their lips in disdain, and Han Qian burst out laughing. Yang Lan in the office couldn't stand it anymore, so she walked out of the office holding two evil spirits by the ears and shouted angrily. You two, come in here, Minister Qin. We'll talk about work later. I'll take care of the housework first. Han Qian panicked and shouted. Old Qin, save me. Suliang lowered his head and said helplessly. I accept my fate. In the office, Yang Lan put away the two evildoers and did not dare to move. Yang Lan also said that not letting Suliang and Han Qian come back was not only for the work of the General Department, but also for the members of the General Department. Although the relationship between President Yan and Vice President Gao has temporarily eased, it does not mean that it will be the same in the future. Fights will definitely occur. The General Affairs Department is Yan Qingqing's main combat force, and Suliang is talented and smart. But he is lazy and unmotivated. Although Han Qian says he is not lazy, he is unreliable and people always disappear suddenly and cannot be contacted. Even if the two of them are reliable, they can't take the entire General Department by themselves and let them leave, and tell the other members bluntly that you can't do it without Han Qian and Suliang, and don't expect to get as high a salary as the two of them. Now Han Qian's announced salary is 7,500 plus bonus, and Suliang's 6,000 plus bonus and full attendance and subsidy, which means he can earn about 8,000 to 10,000 yuan a month. Now Suliang's salary is considered to be at the top level among white-collar workers in the city, very close to the salary of senior executives. If the people in the General Department are envious and have self-esteem, they will work hard. As for those who want to live and die, a Qianwan is enough. Yan Qingqing had her own plan. Yang Lan scolded the two guys bloody, without using any curse words, but every word was heartbreaking. When she went to get the water, the two guys got up and ran away, running all the way to the executive elevator. There were few people using the executive elevator, and the two guys were afraid of being caught. Han Qian breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the elevator coming. Sister Yang is too scary. Oh my god, I don't dare to provoke her again. Ding dong. The elevator came, and Suliang's expression changed as he looked at the elevator door that opened slowly. Qianer, I can't bear this difficulty. I'll leave first. Let's go. Suliang, if you have had enough rest, you will work overtime from now until next Monday. Yan Qingqing stood in the elevator, pinching her waist and looking at the two people who disobeyed the order. She was very angry. She was going to the 14th floor. During this period, someone pressed down on every floor. After seeing her, she stopped coming in. When she reached the 14th floor, Lu was intercepted again. Looking at the two people and then at the floor, Yan Qingqing became even more angry. Suliang spoke first. Mr. Yan, I'm getting married next Saturday. Please show mercy. Yan Qingqing raised her eyebrows. You mean I still want to give you a gift? Suliang panicked, and Han Qian frowned at this. Qingqing, what are you doing? Call Mr. Yan. Yan Qingqing was very angry. Did these two guys come together to give advice to the people in the General Department? I try to update it every day, and I will tell you in the group that my mother is getting better today, so happy. By the way, my mother, like Qian's mother, does not have medical insurance. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 509. Getting married. A wedding on Saturday. Yan Qingqing was very forceful towards men other than Han Qian, and felt the pressure without reservation. Suliang nodded nervously, fearing that Mr. Yan would suddenly ask him to work overtime, so he nodded nervously. Yes, Mr. Yan. Oh. Yan Qingqing walked out of the elevator door, stretched out her hand to straighten Han Qian's collar, and spoke softly. It's Saturday. What time is the ceremony? Suliang became even more nervous when asked this question. He swallowed, lowered his head and whispered. It officially starts at 9:50. Mr. Yan, I have already sent out the invitation. I can work overtime for free every week from now on. Seeing Suliang's guilty look, Han Qian frowned slightly. Just as he was about to speak for Suliang, Yan Qingqing suddenly tightened his tie, almost strangling Han Qian to death. She grabbed the tie and glared at Yan Qingqing, then the other person ignored Han Qian and said calmly. It's 10 o'clock. I should have time, right? Which hotel are you in? South China Sea Fishing Port. Why didn't you go to the company's Tingqiao or your good brother's ex-wife Swan Lake? The venues are both very nice. I've asked, some are too expensive, Lily doesn't have to be too mean, just about right. Okay, you are also an old man in the general department. Give me the invitation. There is no need to send it to the office. After saying this, Suliang panicked. He had never thought of inviting Mr. Yan to the wedding, nor did he dare to send invitations rashly, nor was he prepared. Seeing Suliang hesitating, Yan Qingqing frowned. What? There's no invitation from me? Then prepare to go to the capital on a business trip on Saturday. You won't have a short rest. Mr. Yan, Suliang was anxious. He didn't want to give up his job, nor could he give up the wedding. When he was in a dilemma, Han Qian finally untied his tie, flicked his head against Yan Qingqing's head, and frowned. What are you doing? Why do you want invitations? Neither Qianwan nor I have invitations. Others use invitations. Suliang told me that if you can give me the face to attend the wedding, I'm coming to pick you up personally, do you understand, distinguished guest? Yan Qingqing curled her lips and said disdainfully. Han Qian's mouth is a liar. You are such a bad old man. Are you coming to pick me up on Saturday? Why don't you come and try? Well, I'll ask Aunt G to pick you up. I'm very busy on Saturday. What are you busy with? Bro, the best man. Are you a divorced man being the best man? Are you out of your mind? Suliang is out of his mind too? Huh. Lily used to work in the public relations department. Did you give Sun Ya the invitation? Han Qian, please accompany Suliang to deliver the invitation. Taiba, the clothes I prepared for you can be delivered in the afternoon, remember to change. Oh, uncle, you too, get out of here. Suliang, please don't have a honeymoon after marriage. I have a task to give you. It's urgent. After saying this, Suliang straightened his waist and said seriously. Mr. Yan, I can go to work today. Yan Qingqing turned around and walked towards the elevator, waved to Suliang and said calmly. Humans, you get married once in your life. As for someone, he is a scumbag. When Han Qian heard this, he felt unhappy. Yan Qingqing, don't be so arrogant, okay? I haven't gotten married for the second time yet. You can only marry me the second time, otherwise I will castrate you and get out of here. I'll make you annoying. Yan Qingqing left, Han Qian and Suliang looked at each other, sighed, and went downstairs to find Sun Yat. Most of the people in Glory were notified by Suliang. He was inconspicuous in Glory and the senior officials did not dare to look down upon him. This Suliang has a very vicious eye. Han Qian, whom everyone disliked at the beginning, is the only one he trusts the most. Sun Ya was very happy to be invited. At least on the surface she felt good. She angrily warned Suliang not to bully Lily and promised to give her a big red envelope. Han Qian asked with a smile. Does Vice President Gao have time? Sun Ya smiled awkwardly. Vice President Gao may have to go to the capital on a business trip to meet clients. Mr. Han, can I give you a call? Han Qian nodded, and Sun Ya dialed the phone in front of him. After telling the news about Su Liang's marriage, Gao Xinju was silent for a while, and then said loudly. You cancelled my air ticket and bought a high-speed train ticket in the early morning. It's too troublesome to drive to the capital. I must go to Liang's wedding. Li is from your public relations department. We are also relatives from our mother's side. Don't neglect it. Don't let the general department think that there is no one in our public relations department. You can call and ask to see if there is any need. Or Gao Fulai can transform from an ordinary person to a current shareholder. This guy really knows how to do things. After leaving the public relations department, Su Liang handed the invitation to Han Qian. You can go over to GBUG Bulletin doesn't like everyone except you. Han Qian shrugged, took the invitation and went to find Ji Jing. Unfortunately, Ji Jing was not there. When Han Qian wanted to go back to the general department to brag, little Yang Jia came like a ghost. Let's go. Stop wandering, it's time to go home. Huh? Why are you going? Go to the general department to chat, bye. Han Qian once again went to make an appointment with Wei Tiancheng. This time it was Han Qian's seat, a farmhouse near the suburbs. Yan Qingqing was sitting in the passenger seat and holding Han Qian's arm, with a pair of big eyes filled with nervousness. Han Qian, this place is so eerie, why did you choose this place? Han Qian chuckled softly. Wei Tiancheng booked the place the last few times. This time I came to give him a little surprise. After getting out of the car, Yan Qingqing held Han Qian's arm and said suspiciously. What do you want to do? You'll know in a minute. When he walked into the reserved room, Wei Tiancheng was already here, along with two women. One was Miao Miao, whom Han Qian wanted to beat to death, and the other was a woman Han Qian had never seen before. She was about 40 and dressed very simply. This woman sat in the middle, making Wei Tiancheng and Miao Miao become partners. The woman stood up and stretched out her hand when she saw Han Qian walking in. Master Han. Han Qian stretched out his hand and said doubtfully. You are. The woman smiled. It's normal that Mr. Han doesn't recognize me. I am Wei Buseo's mother and Wei Tianquan's first wife. I can be considered the first wife. For it. Han Qian was stunned. Can he still introduce it like this now? He couldn't help but turn his head to look at Miao Miao, and found that her expression had not changed at all. At this time, Wei Busong's mother spoke. Zhangxin Miao, do you really treat yourself as a guest and refuse to pour water for Mr. Han and Mr. Yan? Do you think I don't know about the stupid things you and Wei Tiancheng did? Zhangxin Miao. Han Qian just knew Miao Miao's name. He originally thought that Miao Miao would be emotional, but to his surprise, she didn't show any displeasure at all and stood up to pour water. Han Qian scratched his head and said softly. Sister-in-law, this. Young Master Han, you don't have to be polite. This is what she should do. I came here today to hope that young Master Han can forgive her for being ignorant. She has been sent abroad by me and will not bother you anymore. As for other things, Han Qian, it's up to you. I just hope you can show mercy to Wei Buebao when you do it. What if I don't want to? Money, cars, people, you can say whatever you want, Zhangxin Miao, you still don't know what to do. After saying this, Miao Miao raised her hand and slapped her pretty face. Han Qian was confused. Wei Buseo's mother seemed not simple, and neither was Wei Tiancheng. Is this considered living in harmony? It seems not very harmonious. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 510. Yan Qingqing and Han Qian were stunned for a moment. What the hell is this? The wife teaches the concubine a lesson? Han Qian drank some water unnaturally, ignored Mia Miao's embarrassment, raised his head and looked gloomy. Wei Tiancheng, I regard you as a humming friend, but you regard me as a fool? Did you think that I have no temper once or twice? Now that Wen Nuan and Lin Zongheng have completely broken up, tell me, what are you going to do? Or should I teach you how to do it? Han Qian's tone was very unkind and tough. Wei Tiancheng's daughter was already 19 years old, and now in front of her two daughters-in-law, a young man in his mid-twenties pointed at the tip of his nose and hummed her one by one. Zhang Xinmiao couldn't bear it anymore. She glared at Han Qian and spoke. Han. Zhang Xinmiao, go tell the kitchen to serve the food quickly. The eldest lady spoke. Miao Miao lowered her head and said softly. Sister. I told you to inform the kitchen. I see. Looking at Mia Miao's leaving figure, Yan Qingqing became a little curious about this eldest lady and asked curiously. Mrs. Wei, you. The eldest lady smiled softly. My surname is Zhao. You don't need to call me Mrs. Wei. Wei Tiancheng and I have divorced. It's just because we still have some relationship with Bulletin Bao, a naive child. If Mr. Han doesn't embarrass Bao Bao, I will no longer interfere with men's affairs. Yan Qingqing is very repressed and won't get involved. Then why did you come here today just for Wei Buxiao? Is it really that simple? When the food was served, Mrs. Zhao and Yan Qingqing were chatting. Yan Qingqing felt better and better about Mrs. Zhao. Han Qian frowned and pinched Yan Qingqing's leg under the table. The latter frowned and turned his head. Han Qian chuckled softly. Sister Zhao, we are all smart people, so there is no need to throw smoke bombs. It would be meaningless to talk about it. I am not greedy or have any desires. I am a simple person with no desires and no desires. But I won't say anything about this time and time again. What are you ordering? Doesn't it mean that I, Han Qian, don't know how to count? Zhao Shanying said with a confused smile. Han Qian understands? As a woman, I don't have as many things as young Master Han thinks. It's just for the sake of my children. He. Han Qian had speculation in his mind. He thought he was a smart person, and Zhao Shanying and Wei Tiancheng were also smart people. Zhao Shanying acted like he didn't care about Wei Tiancheng and only cared about Wei Buxiao. There was a meaning in this. She hoped that Han Qian would give him some advice. Wei Bubo left his family property. Is it really that simple? Will Han Qian be easily fooled? In other words, Han Qian's temper was such that he would not be willing to be used as a gun. Feng Lun made Han Qian resent this feeling. He would not touch Wei Tiancheng. Zhao Shanying also guessed this. So she came to protect Wei Tiancheng, but would Han Qian be easily fooled? Don't forget that there is someone beside him. Yan Qingqing seemed to have guessed something. She wanted to speak but felt a little unsure. For a moment, sweat appeared on her palms and her fingers rubbed together. She took a deep breath and raised her head with bright eyes. Sister Zhao, Director Wei, I don't know what happened here, and I don't want to know, but I know another thing. My secretary is very gossipy. There are rumors that Go Depeo was contacted by the woman Luo Shen. But we have nothing to do with Director Wei, we are all in the same circle, so we are more or less aware of things, right? Han Qian did not stop Yan Qingqing from speaking suddenly. He brought her here to use her identity as a woman and to use this advantage to speak. Wei Tiancheng nodded expressionlessly. Yes. Yan Qingqing then smiled. I also have some undercover agents at Changxiang. Their positions are not low. I have inquired about some information. It seems that it was Director Wei who told Han Qian and Wen Nuan that Go Depeo was hired by Luo Shen. This led to conflicts between the Wen family and the Lin family. Now you want to grab Han Qian's arm, but you don't want to let go of Lin Men's thigh, right? Wei Tiancheng smiled and said nothing, and Zhao Shanying beside him spoke. What did Qingqing say? Old Wei was just confused for a moment. He came here today to apologize to Mr. Han. I am sorry. Yan Qingqing squinted at Mrs. Zhao and sneered. Zhao, you have to be honest. I called you Sister Zhao because you just promised not to interfere with Wei Tianquan's affairs. Now that you have interfered, just treat what I just said as if I didn't say it. What kind of temper does Yan Qingqing have? Her temper is like this. She will chat and laugh with you when things go well, but when things go wrong, she might grab your hair and slap you twice. Her temper is not a secret, and everyone in and outside the circle knows it. Zhao Shanying, who was suddenly scolded, seemed to have not recovered. Han Qian said calmly. Director Wei has done some things and helped me do some things. I don't care about the inside and outside. They are all big men who didn't hook up with the big guns, and maybe they hooked up with the second guns. Director Wei, sister-in-law, are you right? The smile on Wei Tianquan's face remained unchanged, but Zhao Shanying couldn't laugh anymore. With her many years of experience, this Han Qian couldn't hold it back. Han Qian grinned. I know that Director Wei is sincere to me, Han Qian. It's all just because of the old guy Linmend who was causing trouble. But Director Wei, you don't have to worry about this old guy. In the first month of the year, Changxiang Mall was closed for more than half a month, and Changxiang suffered huge losses. My sister-in-law should have heard about this, right? After saying this, Han Qian picked up the teacup, imitated Gao Xing's smile, and said with bared teeth. I did it? Zhao Shanying frowned, looked gloomy, and growled. Han Qian, are you threatening our Huishan group? After saying this, Yan Qingqing started to slap the case. Threat? You don't need Han Qian to attack you Huishan. I, Yan Qingqing, can definitely hold a shareholders meeting to suppress you Huishan. Tu Xiao is your old enemy. Our two families are not enough for you to drink. Han Qian stretched out his hand to hold Yan Qingqing and said softly. What are you doing, Qingqing? Don't mess around, apologize to your sister-in-law. Yan Qingqing looked at Han Qian in surprise. At this time, Wei Tiancheng finally spoke, stretched out his hand and put his arm around Zhao Shanying's shoulder, smiling. Yingzi, you are a bit petty and misunderstood young Master Han. Young Master Han is telling us in good faith that Linmend has no way to deal with him. Haven't you seen it yet? If young Master Han can see me today, it means that he has forgiven him in his heart. Wei Tiancheng, what Mr. Han means is that Teacher Tong still has a knot in his heart, right Mr. Han? Han Qian smiled and nodded. Wei Tiancheng took a deep breath and lowered his head in confusion. At this time, Yan Qingqing suddenly spoke. Well, let me give you a suggestion, Wei Tiancheng. When Nuan is going to build a hospital, you have good connections in the city. Send Nuan a medical team, I heard you have a helicopter, right? Wei Tiancheng lowered his head and smiled bitterly. Meow Meow beside him couldn't help it. Wei Tiancheng bought this helicopter specifically for her. In order to make it easier to go out for fun, she really couldn't bear to part with this yanking Englishy. Mr. Yan, you have to. Yan Qingqing frowned, picked up the plate in front of her, and said coldly. Do you believe that I put a plate on your head, and you, my concubine, have the right to speak here? After saying that, he turned to look at Wei Tiancheng. When Nuan has a very good relationship with nursery rhyme. She has no use for your money or company, and she doesn't dare to ask for it. If you give her a little more. You want me to completely break with Linmend and join your camp, right? Wei Tiancheng had already guessed it. Yan Qingqing narrowed her eyes and smiled. Wei Tiancheng was struggling. At this time, Han Qian took out Nokia and threw it on the table, saying softly. Should I ask Feng Lun to talk to you? Wei Tiancheng picked up a piece of meat with chopsticks and put it on Zhao Shanying's plate. Han Qian smiled when he saw this, took the wine and poured Wei Tiancheng a glass, laughing softly. I want more than a team and a plane, there's a little less of that. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 511. I can go to other hospitals to recruit medical teams, and I can also send warmth by helicopter. Of course, Director Wei sent it, and I don't mind. Lin Zongheng is going to do Juyuan Kailong, so Director Wei can just take it out of the hotel and hang it up for convenience in the name of Nuan Nuan. All the income will be taken away by Huishan, Nuan Nuan will not take any of it, do you understand what I mean? Wei Tiancheng smiled bitterly. Do I have a choice? Han Qian chuckled. You can choose Lin Ment, this is your freedom. If I choose him, documents about me will be delivered to Cheng Jin's desk tomorrow, right? Han Qian, I don't understand why Feng Lun chose you. Han Qian grinned. Because I am an angry young man. Then how did you contact Feng Lun? It's a secret. In fact, Han Qian's method of summoning Feng Lun was a little sinister, but he stopped providing relief to the Toad family, and Feng Lun would come over soon. This was the only way Han Qian could contact Feng Lun. Feng Lun was Wei Tianquan's pet peeve, and he wanted to kill Han Qian because he didn't want Han Qian to sit back and enjoy the results. He gave him the money, he gave him the gun, and he found the connections. But in the end, he didn't get anything, but he got Han Qian's advantage. What Wei Tiancheng regretted most was not killing Han Qian at the beginning. He should not have thought about winning over this evil obstacle. Now that the evil obstacle has become a reality, he has become a prey. Wei Tiancheng understands the meaning of this evil obstacle and forces Wei Tiancheng into the warm camp and forces him to break with Lin Ment. Wei Tiancheng sighed and said sadly. When did you start to suspect that it was me? I've been suspicious of you since you tricked Jijing into seeing me. You're too impatient. I'm very curious about what benefits Lin Ment promised you to help him like this. Forget it, you don't have to say anything. Tomorrow let's go there and have a good time. What can I get? You can get a good friend named Han Qian and many business partners. Go 1. Friendship exists in the adult world, but there is no so-called friendship in competition in the shopping mall. The wages of avarice is death. Han Qian took a sip of wine, stood up to pay and left. Wei Tiancheng, who stayed in the room, took a sip of white wine, his face turned red, and then he punched the table. The two women on the left and right were busy comforting Wei Tiancheng, who leaned on his chair and looked at the roof and sighed. We are powerless. No one can figure out the details of Han Qian now. How many backers he has. What we can know now are the two women Qian Ling and Li Jinhe, and the old guy Tu Xiao. He pinched him hard at the Yamen gate. Han Qian is using the little bit of information Feng Lun gave him to build a relationship with the government office. Lu Guangming and Gao Xincheng are not sure, and most of the city is behind him. Zhao Shanying said softly. Wouldn't it be great to be in his camp? Miao Miao said immediately. Sister, our husband may not be willing to be led by a bumpkin like Han Qian. Zhao Shanying sighed feebly. But what can you do? Your plan failed and you went abroad in anger. What should you do? Choose the Lin family. Listening to the exchange between the two women, Wei Tiancheng put his arms around the two wives and sighed softly. Alas, the only choice now is Han Qian. The Lin family is now under attack from the back and the front. The Wen family's counter-attack is at the back, and Lu Shenge's attack is at the back. I don't care about a broken hotel or a broken plane. What I'm worried about is Han Qian's attack. Fall off all my branches and leaves, and then settle the accounts with my future wife. After finishing his words, Wei Tiancheng stood up and said again. One wrong step, it's still early, go see Lu Guangming. When Lu Guangming was mentioned, both women looked unhappy. Seeing this, Wei Tiancheng smiled bitterly. You guys go back, I'll go see him myself. Yingzi, go get in touch with that Wu Si Quan. Don't be friends or enemies. Meow meow, go meet Han Qian's childhood girlfriends, let alone know Han Qian. Just be steady first. What can Wei Tiancheng do? Han Qian is too powerful. This Han Qian seems to be impatient, but his plans behind the scenes are not urgent. He often puts a knife on the neck of his prey without knowing it. Han Qian sat in the passenger seat and covered his head. As he entered the city, Han Qian raised his head and looked at Yan Qingqing in confusion, his face wrinkled like a bun. Mr. Yan. Yan Qingqing ignored Han Qian while driving, and Han Qian smiled coquettishly. Qingqing. Still no response, Han Qian gritted his teeth and stamped his feet. Xiao Yanyan. Yaksha Empress. Sister-in-law. Yan Nuxia. Honey. Yan Qingqing's expression changed, she turned her head and smiled sweetly at Han Qian. Next time, don't use a questioning tone. Don't doubt that you called me wrong. You have to ask for leave tomorrow, right? Han Qian was overjoyed and nodded vigorously, while Yan Qingqing said with confusion. Go and have fun. Han Qian nodded vigorously, Yan Qingqing said oh, and then said angrily. No. Come to work conscientiously tomorrow, otherwise I will ask Sul Yang to work overtime on Saturday. He will resign if you do this. Then fire Yang Lan next. You have the guts. Did you grow it? You humming. But it's too gangster. Han Qian doesn't understand. Aren't girls reserved? In order to prevent Han Qian from sneaking away the next day, Yan Qingqing came to stay overnight. Her relationship with Wen Nuan was a bit complicated. They fell in love and killed each other, but it was not love, but Yan Qingqing would stand in front of Wen Nuan when there was danger. Today, we also secured a medical team and a helicopter for Nuan, and also allowed Wei Tiancheng to forcefully break with Lin Men to increase Nuan's strength. Well? Han Qian didn't dare to say or ask. When Nuan saw Yan Qingqing, he was slightly startled and frowned. Yan Hu, why are you here? Han Qian after get off work doesn't belong to you. Yan Qingqing changed her shoes and went upstairs very naturally. She smiled and said that Han Qian's shirt had been changed. Wen Nuan chased him all the way, but she came down before Yan Qingqing. Han Qian looked curiously at the unhappy Wen Nuan and the happy Yan Qingqing. What's wrong? After finishing his words, Wen Nuan glared at Han Qian and said angrily. I told you that you are not allowed to speak in dialects. What southern dialect do you, a northerner, say? Yan Qingqing laughed loudly on the side. She felt inferior after seeing me changing clothes. Nuan turned around and glared. Little man, what are you doing here? Let me tell you, Wei Tiancheng is going to see you tomorrow. You should prepare yourself. It is best for the Lin family and his son to see that Wei Tiancheng chose you and broke with the Lin family. You will probably be very busy in the future. Han Qian will be taken care of by me. Wen Nuan looked at Yan Qingqing suspiciously, and slowly came forward and slapped her on the chest. Yan Qingqing was furious. What are you doing? Does it hurt? That's not a dream, right? Why are you so kind? We are enemies only when it comes to Han Qian, do you understand? Oh, Han Qian, will you come find me tomorrow? If Han Qian doesn't go, won't you grow up? You can decide for yourself. What if I mess up? Then just commit suicide. Han Qian will be mine. Nuan slapped Yan Qingqing again. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 512. I don't know how the two women slept. Anyway, Han Qian didn't dare to sleep. He was afraid that something messy would happen in the morning. He was half asleep all night. In the early morning, Han Qian felt that his whole body was not well. He sat on the bed in a daze for a long time. Han Qian didn't come back to his senses until Nuan opened the door and told Han Qian that she was out. After putting on clothes, she went out with an unfamiliar face. Just as she was about to get into the warm car, Yan Qingqing grabbed the back collar and stuffed it into the Raptor, and then drove away. Now Han Qian really didn't know what to do when he went to work. He angrily refused to go upstairs and ran to fight the landlord with the security captain. Yan Qingqing asked softly if he could help buy an inch of poker. The security captain immediately went to practice as a team. The remaining next, Han Qian lay alone in the security room and fell asleep. At this time, the 4 directors of the company held a meeting. Lu Shenge received news about the dispute between the Wen family and the Lin family. He wanted to take advantage of Chang Xiang's civil strife to attack Chang Xiang, and he started directly by acquiring Chang Xiang's shares. Lu Shenge's proposal was rejected by Yan Qingqing and Qianling. Qianling meant that it was a troubled time and it was not recommended to take action at this time. The city originally supported the development of Glory Group because it did not want Chang Xiang to be the dominant one. Now the government office is also closed. I won't let the glory be swallowed up and enjoyed. The result of the meeting was that 1 agreed and 3 opposed. Lu Shenge tilted his head and looked at Gao Xing'ai with doubtful eyes, frowned and spoke in a tone of disbelief. You are my brother-in-law. No. I am your brother-in-law, and you are against me now. Gao Xingxing replied sternly. Director Lu, I think mainly about the company. Nowadays, the company has many tasks and I am unable to distract myself from targeting Chang Xiang. In addition, Chang Xiang's internal conflicts have just begun. Once we take action, we will help them to reconcile, and what will follow? It means fighting back. Unless you, Mr. Lu, choose to support one of them, I will agree. Yan Qingqing crossed her fingers on the table, narrowed her eyes and smiled. I agree with Vice President Gao's proposal. Director Lu, which one do you think you should support? Lin Zongheng has a better chance of winning. Looking at Yan Qingqing's appearance, Lu Shenge became extremely angry. What does raising a tiger mean to cause trouble? What does it mean to shoot yourself in the foot? Looking at Qianling's appearance, Lu Shenge waved his hands in annoyance. I will not support Lin Zongheng. Yan Qingqing said immediately. Then? You mean warmth. The Yamanman behind her is quite powerful. Lu Shenge has a toothache. What is the difference between supporting Wen Nuan and supporting Han Qian? If it weren't for Han Qian, Lin Zongheng would have never had the chance to stab him. Thinking of these 2 guys, the knife edge ached. This matter will be discussed later. Lu Shenge was very irritable. He could no longer control anyone. Seeing this, Qianling stood up and spoke calmly. Then let's discuss everything later. She doesn't care about money. As long as Lu Shenge is unhappy, she will be happy. Now Qianling has not thought about how to kill Lu Shenge and avenge Qian Huan. Because she has Han Qian, she mainly protects Han Qian's safety. The meeting broke up unhappily. Qianling received a phone call when she walked out of the conference room. After a few words on the phone, murderous intent burst out in Qianling's eyes. Are you still evil? Deal with it cleanly and don't let the stupid boy know. After hanging up the phone, Qianling turned to look at the city outside the window. These little things were really boring. Qianling went downstairs to go home. When she got to the first floor, she saw Zizhan teasing the little girl in the lobby the day before yesterday. She was so angry that she couldn't be serious for more than 3 minutes. Qianling walked up and looked at the little girl who was about to cry because of Han Qian. Qianling frowned and grabbed Han Qian's ears. Han Qian felt pain and said angrily. Yan Qingqing, you're pulling, oh my god, I didn't know it was you. Qianling increased her strength slightly and dragged Han Qian out of the company. Han Qian didn't even dare to cry out in pain all the way. Han Qian always acted cowardly to his elders. You came to the company to have fun? Can't you do something serious? Han Qian stopped his waist and said with a serious face. Auntie, I want to do something serious. But Mr. Yan won't let me. What do you want to do? Go enjoy it. After saying this, Han Qian turned around and was about to run away. Qianling reached out and grabbed Han Qian's hair and said angrily. You are an employee of Glory, not a brother-in-law of Chang Xiang. Come here. Auntie, auntie. It hurts. I didn't go there. Be obedient, please let go. Qianling let go of her hand, and Han Qian ran away, running to the bottom of the steps, hiding on the ground, smoking and sulking. Looking at Han Qian's appearance, Qianling smiled. What's wrong? Are you angry? Han Qian nodded vigorously and muttered. Angry. I'm divorced, but my mother-in-law is very good to me, and do you think that with my mother-in-law's abilities, there is no way she can leave only Nuan around me? She can do it, she wants to intervene, glory, enjoyment, it's all hard to do, they just give me face without doing anything, do you think I can't help Nuan? Qianling walked down the steps, stretched out her hand and touched Han Qian's head, smiling. Strange aunt. No, it's just that I'm too weak. You're already fine. I can do better. Would you like some ice cream? 2 of them. The big one. In Qianling's eyes, Han Qian is smart but powerful as a child. Han Qian was holding 2 ice creams in his hand, one on the left and one on the right. Qianling looked at Han Qian lovingly. Qian Huan didn't like ice cream before and always wanted to buy it for him, but he wouldn't eat it. Qian Huan is too self-disciplined, while Han Qian is more casual. When he was thinking about Qian Huan called. Gu. Have you seen Han Qian? Mr. Yan is looking for him. Qianling glanced at Han Qian beside her and said softly. Next to me, at the entrance of the coffee shop across the street. Not long after hanging up the phone, Yan Qingqing ran over and bowed to Qianling. Director Qian, can Han Qian lend it to me? I'll return it to you in the afternoon. Well, remember to let him eat at noon. He doesn't seem to have eaten breakfast. Director Qian, I understand. Waiting a moment. Qianling turned around and went to the supermarket. Not long after, she came out with 2 large black plastic bags of snacks and handed them to Yan Qingqing. I understand your temperament. You forget to eat when you are busy. Remember to eat a little when you are hungry. It is not urgent to make money, your health is more important. Han Qian took the snack and left. Yan Qingqing raised her foot and kicked Han Qian's butt, saying angrily. Don't know how to say thank you. Han Qian curled his lips and replied. What's the difference between my aunt and my mother? Why are you so polite? I'm leaving. You should go back early. It's hot. Qianling watched the 2 of them off with a smile, feeling that they were a perfect match. After getting in the car, Han Qian mumbled while eating snacks. Where to go? Yan Qingqing started the Raptor and frowned. Go and enjoy it. I'm always worried that Nuan won't be able to handle it well. At the same time, a car accident occurred on the Binhai Highway in the New District. A Toyota overbearingly speeded and pretended to kill 2 men. He died on the spot. The driver was a black man, in a suit and leather shoes, with a strong build. Looking at the dead man on the ground, the black man took out his mobile phone. Boss, I'm pretending to be dead. Go and plead guilty and ask Xiaobai to contact their families and pay compensation. This is the first wave of people this year. It's the 5th wave. Protect my nephew. I know, boss. After hanging up the phone, the black man lit a cigarette and called the police. I killed someone. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, a Huan. Chapter 514. Yan Qingqing went to enjoy it, and she still held Chang Xiang's uncle's arm, acting intimately, like a couple. Are you here to cause trouble? After receiving the news, the little secretary quickly informed Vice President Wen, opened the door and said eagerly. Mr. Wen, my uncle, he. Nuan was having a headache at the moment, and Wei Tiancheng didn't come, but his wife, who never showed up very often, was sitting in front of her, with a little Nuan sister in her mouth and a little beauty in her mouth. Even though Nuan was thick-skinned, she was a little embarrassed. Nuan didn't know the purpose of Zhao Shaniying's visit, but during the chat, Zhao Shaniying asked about Nuan's work in the hospital. When they talked about emergency rescue, Zhao Shaniying proposed to serve the people. When Nuan is already confused. Why is this eldest sister here? She still has a lot of things to do and doesn't want to waste time here. Hearing that Han Qian was coming, Wen Nuan immediately felt that the savior had arrived, and quickly asked Secretary Chang to bring Han Qian over. Secretary Chang was a little embarrassed and whispered. Yan Hu? Why is she here? Sister Zhao, please wait, I may. Zhao Shaniying stood up and laughed softly. I know, I'll come over in the afternoon. Again. Nuan's head was full of questions, and then he remembered Yan Qingqing's explanation last night, frowned slightly, and said doubtfully. Sister Zhao is leaving like this? How should I explain to my husband later? Zhao Shaniying was stunned. Why did this stupid girl suddenly change? Then he thought of Yan Qingqing downstairs. This vixen was really not a thing. Zhao Shaniying smiled and waved warmly to Secretary Chang. Take Yan Hu to visit Chang's Yang group. Yes. The secretary left. Nuan looked like Zhao Shaniying and smiled. Actually, there's nothing big going on here today. I heard that Sister Wen Nuan wants to build a cardiovascular and cerebrovascular hospital to serve the people. Sister also wants to contribute a little bit. To be honest, she also wants to make up for the situation of Old Wei. Lu Guangming used to the reputation in the city is extremely bad. Now that I can only invest a few million, the reputation is worth a lot. I also heard that Sister Nuan, you are planning to build a high-end stroke center. There is a helicopter limit in your home. It is too ostentatious, so please warm me. Take it, sister. Nuan squinted and smiled, underestimating that it was just this little thing. Yan Qingqing looked so energetic last night. How big a gift did she think she was? Nuan muttered to herself in her heart and said nothing. This made Zhao Shaniying a little confused. Could it be that the amount was insufficient? She really didn't want to give the hotel warmth and then break up with the Lin family. She is also silent. Chang's Yang group, Xiao Yang Jia is here, brought here by Yan Qingqing's order. Secretary Chang led the way, dressed in white business attire, black stockings and high heels, with her hair tied back, and she would bend slightly every time she turned around for an introduction. One mouthful will tell whether my uncle is thirsty, and one mouthful will tell whether Dongyan is tired. Today, my uncle is so handsome, even more beautiful than what Yan Dong said. On the other hand, Xiao Yang Jia, because this girl knew that Yan Qingqing was not in the company today, split her ponytail in two, disappeared from her work clothes, and put on a nondescript leather suit. Little Yang Jia got out of the taxi and waved erotically at Yan Qingqing and Han Qian. Seeing this, Yan Qingqing quickly turned around, covered her face with one hand, lowered her head and gritted her teeth angrily. Han Qian, I'm going to take her back. I made the wrong mistake and chose such a thing to be my secretary. It's so embarrassing. But Han Qian didn't think so and grinned. I think it's quite cute. The little permanent secretary is too serious and is more suitable for warmth. Little Yang Jia is very lively and cute, which suits your personality. Besides, didn't little Yang Jia have several former secretaries before? Huh? You scolded me and ran away. While they were talking, Xiao Yang Jia had already arrived in front of the two of them, holding two ponytails and smiling innocently. Mr. Yan, do you look good? Do I look good? Go away and ask. Then Xiao Yang Jia changed positions and smiled again. Mr. Yan, look at me, do I look good? Yan Qingqing was a little helpless, raised her head and looked Yang Jia up and down, but still snorted unhappily. Walking into Changxiang again, little Yang Jia discovered that there was an opponent here. For a moment, the girl seemed to have changed. She approached Secretary Chang and started to talk about the basic principles of being a secretary. It's true that little Yang Jia likes to play, but that doesn't mean she's really stupid. Han Qian gloated as he watched the two little secretaries compete, and an idea suddenly came to his mind. Does this count as a sister-in-law? As soon as this idea appeared, Han Qian slapped himself. What was he thinking? The voice was bad, everyone looked at her sideways. It was very eye-catching to have fun with Yan Qingqing, but this slap made people think even more. Yan Qingqing asked softly. What are you doing? There are no mosquitoes this season. Han Qian took a deep breath and said helplessly. I didn't sleep well last night. I'm a little sleepy. You take a walk while I go to Yu Shisai's office to take a nap. You poetry. Yan Qingqing tensed up her nerves instantly and shouted in a low voice. When did you two get together? I took you to enjoy it to help Wen Juiying, not to let you come here to flirt. Han Qian raised his hand and patted Yan Qingqing's head, saying softly. Yu Shisai will not return to the office now. I slowly gave up on Nuan's work long before the divorce. Yu Shisai was the counselor she invited. This moment should have passed. Yan Qingqing slapped Han Qian's claws away, frowned and asked. So we don't need to come at all? Can Wen Nuan handle it by ourselves? Han Qian nodded. That's the theory. Then you can just go shopping and enjoy yourself. You can't teach Nuan a lesson. It's a waste of my time. After saying this, he turned around and glared at Xiao Yang Jia. Do I need to leave you here as a warm secretary? I am a glorious man. Yang Jia clenched her fists as if to tell herself that she was worried that she would forget about it because of ordering snacks. The three guys from Glory left, and so did Zhao Shanying, wearing a white chiffon shirt, black 9-point pencil pants, and a pair of 8-centimeter high heels. Holding hands, eyes cold. Xiao Nuan, don't be too polite to this Zhao Shanying. Give him a plane and a hotel. Why? Now Lin Zongheng is preparing to start the hotel business. At this juncture, she comes to deliver the hotel? Is this being threatened behind the scenes or has he suddenly awakened? Han Qian. Nuan suddenly let out an exclamation, and Yu Shisai frowned. Han Qian again? Where did you find this precious pimple? No, he came to enjoy himself. Did I forget about him? Nuan forgot about Zhao Shanying for a moment, took out his mobile phone and called Han Qian, and learned that Han Qian had gone back. Nuan was a little disappointed and put down the phone and said helplessly. I leave all the poems to you, I'm so annoyed. In fact, Han Qian was more annoyed than Wen Nuan at the moment, and Yan Qingqing was laughing so much that she couldn't drive. Nursery rhyme wants Han Qian to pretend to be her boyfriend to deal with the old man.